been a bit of a crazy start to the week, and it continued into the afternoon. And I gotta say that this was some surprising news because this was a PlayStation 5 exclusive that really was a launch game that started off pretty well for Sony. And I gotta say, a lot of people, despite the fact that the game didn't get overwhelmingly great scores, it still did pretty well for Sony, from what I understand, in terms of what they were able to kind of get out of it. And they also made it part of PlayStation Plus 1 month. So that goes to show that they really kind of had a lot of faith into it. In terms of what they actually invested in, Sony actually invested money into this game as well to make sure that it was a PlayStation exclusive and that it could run well on the PlayStation 5. In fact, it was one of the first games that they showcased on the PlayStation 5. So yeah, very interesting to kind of say the least, and I want to get into this as quickly as possible. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Crap Gamer and this is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the absolute world to me, and I just want to say thank you guys once again. And if you guys are watching, please let me know what you're watching on. If you're watching on YouTube or whatever, I appreciate it. And let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I would take all that stuff into consideration. So thank you guys for always rocking out with me. I definitely appreciate it. So with that being said, I want to get into this because, like I said, it's something that a lot of people are talking about today. But it also got a little bit lost in the shuffle due to the fact that, the games itself was a bit of a launch title for the PlayStation 5. So we'll see how that kind of works out long term. But like I said, it's definitely something that is realistically being talked about quite a bit right now. And so I wanted to talk about it. So that's something that I felt was pretty keen to talk about. So again, Godfall Ultimate Edition is coming to Xbox with actually more features and things than it had on the PlayStation. It's coming with VRR and Dolby Vision support. So following the announcement of the Exalted free update, Gearbox and Counterplay Games have revealed today that Godfall Ultimate Edition will be available on the same day, April 7th. It'll also be the occasion to launch the game on other platforms such as Xbox consoles and Valve's Steam store on PC. These platforms will enjoy a limited time discount as well, as Godfall Ultimate Edition will launch at $29.99 on Xbox and Steam instead of the regular $39.99. Daniel Nordlander, game director at Counterplay Games, said in a statement as follows: Godfall Ultimate Edition is the pinnacle of epic high fantasy adventure we set out to make when developing our ambitious next-gen RPG. Ultimate Edition not only opens the realms of Empyrean to Xbox and Steam players, but also contains the recently announced Exalted update, our latest and largest addition to the game. The combination of several major fan-driven changes and new platform availability truly makes this the absolute best time for anyone to join the fight against macros. The Xbox version of Godfall Ultimate Edition is coming with specific enhancements such as variable refresh rate and Dolby Vision support, both unavailable on PlayStation consoles. So as we can see, it's a little bit more of a distinct version for the Xbox console. Now, I'm not going to brag about it and go, oh man, Xbox gamers get like this ultimate kind of edition or whatever. I mean, they kind of do, but at the end of the day, the game seems like it's a bit more of a, it's still more of a mid game. Like, I got it on PlayStation Plus or whatever, never really looked into it. It was something that initially grabbed some of my interest due to the fact that, the game itself looked really good coming out on the PlayStation 5. We thought, hey, it's going to take full advantage of it, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, but at the end of the day, it ended up really not living up to expectations, and I think it scored really kind of piss poor, if we're honest about it. So yeah, it's not something that I'm going to be like, oh, let me go out and get it, but maybe it has gotten better since that point. I mean, I'm sure that it has, and I do see some people kind of talk it up. But I guess it really just kind of comes down to what gamers want and what they want to play. I mean, that's honestly what it always comes down to. So, if you don't know what Godfall is all about, you can take on an epic campaign and single-player co-op adventure across the 3 elemental realms in Empyrean alone or with up to 2 other players as you battle towards the final confrontation with Twisted Fallen Knight macros. Then take on the Flameblood tribe in the Deadly Fire Realm and the Fire and Darkness expansion. The Exalted update brings a host of story updates and enhancements, making the experience more immersive than other ever. Excuse me. The Tinkerer's Dream. There's no shortage of awesome loot to obtain. So it's kind of like a looter fantasy RPG. I don't know. A lot of people have said some interesting things about it. So yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, I know this game was like I think a $70 game when it launched on PlayStation. So yeah, the fact that it's something that you can get with VRR support and things like that is pretty interesting, to say the least. When it comes to what you're going to be able to get with the Xbox version. I did hear a lot of Xbox fans say, maybe they would wait until they got a game on Game Pass, which, who knows what the future brings for it, but I would assume that it could potentially go to Game Pass at some point. We'll just have to wait and see, though, but it is interesting, nice to see, I guess, well, or depending on if you like that kind of game, that it's coming to Xbox. So we'll see. We'll see what happens long term. But like I said, there are a lot of people that are kind of talking about it and kind of giving their ideas about it. On the PlayStation side, you have a lot of PlayStation fans saying things like, "Oh, they don't care. It was a low-rated game. Who cares about this? Who cares about that?" The typical kind of nonsense that you would expect. Like the console wars never cease to amaze me. I'll give you a good example. Just a quick example. This is why I don't do as much console wars as I used to, and I kind of even avoid some of it on social media. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We know Microsoft owns Bethesda, right? When Deathloop released as a one-year PlayStation exclusive to critical acclaim, I think it was like an 88 on Metacritic, was in Game of the Year discussions. PlayStation fanboys were like, yeah, they're releasing better games on PlayStation than Xbox, and these type of things, these type of statements. Oh, it's because they know what greatness is, etc. We get the jokes. But now that Tango Softworks is releasing Ghostwire Tokyo, or it's getting reviewed, and it's getting reviewed in the mid-70s, like all of their games have pretty much gotten reviewed at, people are like, oh, it's another typical Xbox Game Pass fodder game or whatever. But had that game released to rave critical reviews, it would have been the same situation as the first one. So realistically, and it's not just PlayStation fans, I get it, it's Xbox fans do the same thing. It's really just kind of funny to me to see kind of the back and forth about how this kind of happens. So I do think it's going to be very fun to see how things happen in the future. Like, look, Ghostwire Tokyo never interests me. Deathloop never interests me. Like, when it comes to Bethesda, I was very honest about it. Starfield interests me because they say it's Skyrim in space. I love Skyrim. That kind of stuff interests me, and we'll see what happens. But I just think it's a little bit ironic and kind of funny to see the differences in how these things happen and come about, and then gamers kind of react differently to all this stuff. So again, it really kind of comes up to preferences, and everybody kind of changes and has an idea of what they like one day, and then it's completely something else the next day. So I think that's where we're at kind of with this situation right now, and everything kind of continues to be a little bit in flux. We'll see. The gaming seems to be changing a little bit every single day. It's honestly, I'm never surprised by anything that we see when it comes to video games. I'm never surprised. Every day always brings something new and something weird and something crazy. We'll see what happens. It is crazy to think about where we're at right now in video games. So I don't think we've ever lived in a time like this, and it's just going to continue to be that way. So anyway, I will link this if you guys would check it out. I would appreciate it. I'll link the description. You guys can have a look. Let me know what you think. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Do you plan on buying this game on Xbox? Crap Gamer out.